Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is the Puma Fast RB Nitro Elite LD. So you might recall in the second half of last year that Puma launched the Fast RB Nitro Elite, which is this shoe here, which was a rule-breaking carbon plate racing shoe that has a very high stack height, well above the World Athletics limits, and 3 carbon plates in the midsole. It was also a laceless shoe, as you can see here, whereas the new Fast RB Nitro Elite LD is a shoe with laces, but otherwise sticks to the same, rule-flouting principles as the original Fast RB. Whole point of the shoe being really to see what you can do with shoes if you do ignore those regulations. So obviously World Athletics have brought in regulations for carbon shoes to try and combat the tumbling of all the world records since the Nike Vaporfly launched and every other brand launched a really good carbon plate racing shoe. The main rules that are being flouted here are that the shoe must have a stack height that's no higher than 40mm and it can't have more than 1 carbon plate. So the Puma Fast RB Nitro Elite LD stands 58mm tall at the heel and 46mm at the forefoot. So you've got a 12mm drop and a stack height that's 6mm above regulations under the forefoot. And then you have 3 carbon plates in the midsole, 2 that are just in the forefoot of the shoe and 1 full length plate as well. So the idea of this and the original one was what happens when you create a shoe that really breaks the rules? Like, can it be better than carbon plate racing shoes? What exactly can you do with it? Obviously the Fast RB is not the only shoe that has broken these rules in the past. The main one being something like the Adidas Prime X Strung, which people have used in races to great effect. It has been shown to be a very effective racing shoe. Lots of other training shoes that also go above that 40mm limit, things like even the Super Blast or the Hoka Skyward X, but this is something a bit different. It's obviously a bit of a concept shoe and one that's designed to appeal as a eye-catching, newsworthy shoe as much as one that you're actually going to run in. That's also pointed to by the fact that only 1,000 pairs have been made available of this shoe, and there are only 1,000 pairs available of the Fast RB without laces as well. I'm not sure if availability is going to increase in the future, but if you do want to pick one up, you're going to have to spend a lot of money. It costs £300 in the UK, $350 in the US, and €350 in Europe, this shoe. So it's expensive, hard to get. It's a bit crazy, but what does it actually feel like on the run? Like on the Run Testers, we keep things pretty straight-laced when it comes to our reviews, so this is going to be a pretty straight-laced review, which might seem at odds with the slightly mad looking thing I'm holding as I'm talking about it, but I did want to try and run fast in the shoe. When I tested out the Fast RB Nitro Elite Original, I took it for a mixed paced run, but I wanted to go and actually run fast in the shoe, so I took it down the track today to see how that feels. So we've talked about the drop and the design in general. Let's talk a bit more about the midsole. You've got 3 big chunks of Puma's Nitro Elite foam in there, the nitrogen infused bouncy material, like a big sizable section at the back of the shoe there in the heel, which is almost pronged at the bottom to create kind of a tripod with the forefoot of the shoe, where you've got 2 more chunks of Nitro Elite, and then, like I say, 2 carbon plates in the forefoot here and here, then a full length power plate running the length of the shoe as well. So you've got a huge cutout here as well, which reduces the weight a little bit, but not much. This is an incredibly heavy shoe, as was the Fast RB without laces. It clocks in at 363 grams or 12.8 ounces in a UK size 9, US size 10. So, that's immediately going to put some doubts in your mind when it comes to race day, but, you've got all this propulsion in there. Can that counteract the weight of the shoe, I guess is the question. You have a Puma grip, rubber outsole, really good grip, quite a thick layer of that as well. Obviously not too concerned about weight. And then you've got an ultra weave upper with laces, like I say, which is a big difference to the first shoe. This does improve the fit and the lockdown a little bit. I know some people had problems with heel slippage on the first shoe. We'll talk more about that in the fit section, but in general, it's nice to have a more secure fit when you're standing on such a high, stack of foam, because it does create a little bit more of a secure feeling. Actually, that's added to by the Puma grip, which is a very good, reliable outsole material, which again makes you feel a bit more secure. The geometry of the shoe is quite interesting as well. You've got quite a noticeable forefoot rocker when you're running in the shoe, but when you're actually not running in the shoe and just stand it up on the surface, the heel doesn't touch the ground. It's actually elevated above the forefoot, but when you are running, the heel does come down, you land and hit that section of it at some point and then roll onto this forefoot. So certainly a very interesting shoe in terms of the design. Let's see how it feels on the run. When it comes to the fit of the shoe, I have my normal size here, which is a UK 9, which is a US 10 with Puma. I found it actually fit quite well. Sometimes with Puma's racing shoes, like the Nitro Elite V version 3, it ended up being a little bit big for me, and I needed probably to go half size down because I'm often slightly in between sizes, but didn't really have a problem with either version of the Fast RB. I'd say With the laceless design, the temptation would be to go half size down anyway to get a more secure fit, given that you don't have laces to tighten up the fit. But I didn't really have any problems with the fit on that shoe, I would say. I know some people had slippage, didn't feel that secure, but you do have a more secure feeling with the laced version, especially in terms of ensuring there's no lateral movement if you are going to run fast and try and take any kind of corner in the shoe, which is obviously helpful. And yeah, I had a nice hold around the heel today on the run and enough room in the toe box. So if you are going to pick up this shoe, I'd probably look at your normal size. Maybe if you are very small for your size, you could go half size down, but I think, yeah, it's the right size for me in my normal size with Puma shoes.
Good morning. I am just down at the track here in Walthamstow in London to do a run in the Puma Fast RB Nitro Elite LD, long name. A lot going on with this shoe, the rule breaking shoe with its 3 plates and so on. I did run in the laceless version of the shoe, just did a mixed pace run in that shoe to try it out. I'm going to try and run fast in the rule breaker today. I've got quite a short session, just a little taper session ahead of a marathon today where I'm going to be doing 5 times 800 in 2:45 with 200 meters float recovery in 50 seconds. So whole session will work, it's just like 5k of volume in total, should be like a high 18 minute 5k or so in the shoe. So it'll be interesting to try it out for that, actually running at a decent pace. So it's around marathon pace on the 800s, obviously then slowing down for those float recoveries. It's a Magpie. It's a very big heavy shoe, but it's a very bouncy shoe as well, so really interesting to see how it feels actually trying to run fast for a sustained period in it. And yeah, I'll see how it is, check back in after. All done there, that run in the Fast RB rule breaking shoe. I did about 5 miles, about 30 minutes, and then the actual body of work in the middle there with the reps, did them a little bit quick, so the whole 5k ended up about 17:17. So it's a reasonable little run out in the shoes with a bit of pace in there. They're strange. It's a surreal experience running in them. Like, I'm a heel striker. I think when I get up to pace, I'm probably a bit more midfoot, but there isn't really midfoot there, so I'm probably still landing on those almost little spiky stilts at the back of the shoe there that kick you onto that exaggerated rocker with the 3 plates in it. I think that's almost the best way to unlock that rocker. Like when I was up on my toes for a couple of little strides to feel it out, actually didn't feel quite as bouncy as when I was getting kicked onto it and kind of using the whole lever there of the 3 plates. And it's very bouncy. It's almost juddery bouncy. It's like kind of the impact of it as it propels you on your way. And there's a lot of bounce there, but I would say there's not enough bounce to counteract the size and weight of the shoe. I mean, this could be down to running style as well. So I'm quite a high cadence runner, quite a shuffly style. So you might unlock more bounce, have more fun with these shoes if you are loping a bit more and exploding out of them even more than I am. But I'm putting a bit of force into them today. I was running reasonably quick, and the weight on the front of the shoe is just apparent the whole time. So it's very much at the front. The back doesn't feel as heavy to me. It's all those plates, everything hanging off the front of the shoe. Just as you lift your toe off, you've got that bounce, but you are still feeling the weight of that putting it down again. That kind of drags you down again. So yeah, it's not a shoe I'd be using for racing myself. Now we're going to review this as we would any other running shoe. Obviously this is something a bit different. There's only 1,000 pairs. It's designed to be a bit more of a eye-catching, news-making shoe rather than something that you're ever going to see Puma's elite runners in, because obviously it's illegal. But even if it wasn't illegal, you'd be using the Fast R2 or the DV8 Nitro Elite 3 instead, which are, God, DV8 Nitro Elite 3 must be 160 grams lighter, something like that. So it's it's almost double the weight of that shoe, which is a fantastic racing shoe, really good shoe. I was wearing the Metaspeed Sky Paris here at the start just in case I didn't want to run in these shoes today, and it just feels like it's a different world, and it is a different world, and it's fun, and it's surreal, and it's enjoyable to do, and it's limited edition. If you get hold of them, you can have a bit of fun with them, but they're a bit too chunky to be the shoes that you pick to run fast in. They are pretty stable though, I'd say. This is the week of my marathon. It's maybe slightly risky to come and do this session in these shoes, but I actually, having used the previous version, they're actually quite stable. A massive wide forefoot. It's one of the reasons they are heavy, obviously, and they've got to be like that to be stable with all this stuff going on. And the little things at the back there do stabilise the back of the shoe, so I didn't really feel like it was a risk. So you can just go and mooch around in them. I did a fairly slow run in the laceless version when we tested that out, and yeah, they're fun to just mooch around, and you get that bounce there. And there were times today when I wasn't really trying to run fast, like at the start of a rep, like towards the end of it, I was trying to just cruise along, and I knew I was ahead of pace and I was relaxing a bit, and the shoes almost take over and you are still running quite quick, and you can get into a bit of a rhythm with them. But yeah, then you start to feel the weight get after a while. So I mean, that was fun. They're interesting shoes. It's something a bit different. I enjoyed running them today. You can run quick in them, but they wouldn't be my top choice for that within the Puma range or outside the Puma range.
So it was a fun outing today at the track in the Fast RB Nitro Elite LD. You can see I was smiling quite a lot in the post-run section there. So I did have a good time. Like, it's an interesting shoe to run in. It does feel really weighty, and that does definitely detract from some of the fun, because lots and lots of bounce coupled with a very heavy design is not as fun as lots and lots of bounce with a lightweight design. And there are really lightweight bouncy shoes out there now. If you are looking for really wild shoes, there's things like the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro line, or even the new Hoka Cielo X 2.0 is a very fun and bouncy shoe that's a lot lighter. And this is, as we say, more of a concept shoe, more of a fun idea of what you can do, maybe one that collectors will pick up or have been able to pick up with the very limited availability. But I think it was fun and interesting to go and do even quite a short track session like that, just to see how it feels if you are going to try and maintain paces. And there were points, like I said at the end of that video there, where it did feel like you were starting to lock in and cruise along in rhythm, but they didn't last very long. And if you're actually looking at like a street race or something like that, every time you hit a corner, you'd lose all that rhythm because it would be very hard to actually run in it. So yeah, we're going to see Puma athletes and people who like Puma in general continue to race and race well in the Fast R2 Nitro Elite 3.3, and that's not just because they stick to the rules and regulations, it's because they're more effective racing shoes than a 360 gram shoe, no matter how much bounce is in the forefoot. But yeah, it was very fun for me. I think it might be a bit different to different foot strikes. As I mentioned in the video there, landing on this kind of the two prongs at the back and then being pushed onto that forefoot, I think created the best ride I could get from the shoe. If you are landing more squarely on the forefoot, I don't actually think you get as much fun out of the bounce, because it's almost like you want to glide into the shoe section and really compress it in the exact way where you're starting at the back there and rolling through. If you're going to hit it all square on, I'm not sure maybe if it feels quite as propulsive as if you do rock through from that hill. But yeah, it was fun out there today. Not a lot of people are going to be able to buy the shoe, not a lot of people are necessarily going to want to buy the shoe, but it's a pretty cool piece of kit. It's a nice idea, and I'm not against Puma having a bit of fun and doing this with various shoes. They've also shown a desire to innovate even with their legal races. It'd be interesting to see if any design cues or prompts from a product like the Fast RB end up in their legal, more effective racing line in the future. So that's the Puma Fast RB Nitro Elite LD. Let us know what you think of the shoe in the comments below. I'm sure there'll be lots of opinions on what is a very, like I say, eye-catching and newsworthy shoe. Please like and subscribe, ring the little bell. See you next time.